They told you slavery ended, that the Emancipation Proclamation was the great moral turning point, that America fought a war, spilled its blood, signed its papers, and walked away clean. But what if that was only half the story? What if slavery never ended at all? It just changed shape. What if right now it's hiding in warehouses, factories, detention centers, and cobalt mines, dressed in uniforms behind legal contracts, inside your smartphone, and you didn't even notice? This isn't a metaphor. It's not a poetic statement. It's real. It's measurable. It's happening globally. According to the International Labor Organization ILO, over 50 million people are currently trapped in modern slavery, more than at any point in human history. Asterisk. So, ask yourself, how can that be possible in the 21st century? How can slavery grow in an age of democracy, human rights, and global law? Because the system didn't die, it evolved. Asterisk. Let's go back. In 1865, the United States passed the 13th Amendment. History. Books say it abolished slavery, but they rarely mention the clause that followed: neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, shall exist within the United States. ... Asterisk. That's not abolition. That's a loophole. That's slavery. The terms and conditions in that loophole became a blueprint across the globe. The definition of freedom has always been negotiable for the poor, the racialized, the colonized. So when traditional slavery became politically unfashionable, it didn't disappear. It rebranded. Let's look at what modern slavery actually looks like. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, tens of thousands of children, as young as 6, are forced to dig for cobalt, a mineral used in your smartphone, laptop, and electric car. Asterisk. According to Amnesty International, many work 12 hours a day, for as little as $1 in toxic conditions, with no safety gear. They're not employees. They're indentured by poverty, trafficked by armed militias, and trapped in a supply chain that ends in your pocket. Companies like Apple, Tesla, and Samsung have all been linked to suppliers using this labor. Asterisk. In China, the U.S. Department of Labor and multiple human rights watchdogs report that Uyghur Muslims are subjected to forced labor in re-education camps. Their hand-stitched gloves, solar panels, and cotton products for global markets. These are not isolated incidents. This is an economic model according to the Global Slavery Index. $468 billion worth of goods imported into G20 countries every year are at risk of being produced with forced labor. So let's ask again. If your economy is built on stolen labor and you profit from it daily, how is that different from slavery? It's asterisk. But we don't need to go overseas. Let's talk about prison labor in the United States. Over 800,000 incarcerated individuals are currently working inside prisons, often for pennies an hour, with no labor rights, no minimum wage, no union protection. Many are forced into jobs under threat of punishment, solitary confinement, loss of visitation, parole denial. In 2020, the Marshall Project reported that prisoners in California were paid as little as $1 per hour to fight wildfires, risking their lives while being legally barred from becoming firefighters after release. Is that rehabilitation? Or is that exploitation? Private prison corporations, like CoreCivic and GEO Group, have made billions off incarceration housing inmates while profiting off their labor and charging them inflated fees for phone calls, hygiene products, and commissary food. Asterisk. In the words of author and lawyer Michelle Alexander, we have not ended racial caste in America, we have merely redesigned it. Asterisk. Let's widen the lens. In Qatar, thousands of migrant workers from Nepal, India, and Bangladesh were lured by promises of work building. World Cup stadiums. Once arrived, passports were seized, contracts were changed, wages withheld. A 2021 Guardian investigation revealed that over 6,500 workers died since Qatar was awarded the tournament in 2010, many in unexplained circumstances. With little compensation to families, the system used was called kafala, a sponsorship mechanism that ties a worker's legal status to their employer. Leaving the job? That's a crime. Complaining? Grounds for deportation? Again, ask, if you can't quit, can't leave, can't speak out, is that a job? Or is that something else? Asterisk modern slavery is not carried out with whips and auctions. It wears suits. It files contracts. It calls itself supply chain efficiency. You don't need chains when you have debt bondage. Asterisk in India. Entire families are locked into cycles of labor for loans as low as $50 working in brick, kilns, carpet, factories, or rice mills. Children are born into this cycle, inheriting the debt. It never ends. Asterisk N Southeast Asia. Women are trafficked under the guise of domestic work, trapped in homes. Denied rest, beaten, raped, and isolated. Asterisk U slavery no longer announces itself. It doesn't need shackles or plantations. It hides behind euphemisms. Low-skilled labor detention work programs, supply chain complexity, temporary contracts. It hides in your phone. Your shoes, your chocolate bar. It hides in plain sight, buried under convenience and distance. Asterisk. But here's the truth. Slavery never ended. It got smarter. It got cleaner. And it learned how to sell itself. Legislation is catching up, but slowly. The UK's Modern Slavery Act, the California Transparency and Supply Chains Act, and the EU's Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive are small steps. But systemic change. That demands more. It demands pressure. It demands transparency. It demands that we ask who pays the price for our comfort. Because every time someone picks cocoa in West Africa for 25 cents a day, every time a prisoner sews military uniforms for pennies, every time a migrant is trapped behind a border wall, without rights, that is slavery. Alive. Legal. Profitable. You just didn't see it until now.